Dear students, in the previous class, we had started reading Leela's Friend written by R.K. Nair. Siddha, a teenager boy, had been employed in the Shiv Shankar household at the behest of Leela, the 5-year-old daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Shiva Shankar. Transcending the social and financial barrier, Siddha and Leela became friends. Transcend means to go beyond, অতিক্রম করা, social and financial barrier, আর্থিক এবং সামাজিক ব্যবধান. Because Siddha was a mere servant while Leela belonged to a middle class family. Siddha was very poor also. But in spite of these drawbacks, in spite of these barriers, Siddha and Leela developed a relationship based on love and trust. How did this relationship develop? Leela and Siddha played together. Siddha was Leela's playmate. Leela threw the ball at Siddha, Siddha threw the ball back at her. Leela would request Siddha to throw the ball up. Siddha would do it, and when the ball came down, he would tell Leela that the ball had touched the sky. As Leela is credulous by nature, credulous, one who is apt to believe, Bishwash Probam, she believed in Siddha's words because children are credulous by nature. We are starting from that point. What is in the sky, Siddha? As Leela is a child, she is curious by nature. Curious means eager to know. The sky is such a vast area, so someone must be living there. So Leela asked Siddha who lived in the sky, and Siddha replied that God lived in the sky. God, he said. If we stand on the roof and stretch our arms, can we touch the sky? As Leela is a little girl, she thinks that the sky is very near them, and she also thinks that the sky can be touched by standing on the roof. Not if we stand on the roof here, he said, but if you stand on a coconut tree, you can touch the sky. Siddha told Leela that the sky could be touched by standing on a coconut tree. Have you done it? Asked Leela. Yes, many times, said Siddha. Whenever there is a big moon, I climb a coconut tree and touch it. Now, Leela was very much impressed, and she asked Siddha whether Siddha had touched the sky by standing on the coconut tree. And what did Siddha reply? Siddha replied that he had touched the sky many times. Whenever the moon came out in the sky, he would stand on the coconut tree and touch the sky. Does the moon know him? Now Leela was very much astonished, and she thought that the moon was known to Siddha. So she asked him if the moon knew him. Yes, very well. Now come with me. I will show you something nice. Then Siddha told Leela that the moon knew him, and to convince her, he asked her to come with him. They were standing near the rose plant. He said, pointing, "You see the moon there, don't you?" Now Siddha pointed to the moon from near the rose plant. They were standing near the rose plant, and Siddha pointed to the sky and asked Leela to look at the sky. From there, Leela could see the moon. So what did Leela reply? Yes, that means Leela said that she could see the moon from near the rose plant. Now come with me, he said, and took her to the backyard. Now a yard is an open space either in front of the house or at the back of the house. In Bengali it is called uthon. Now if the open space is in front of the house, it is called the front yard. If it is at the back of the house, it is called the backyard. So Siddha took Leela to the backyard. He stopped near the well and pointed up. The moon was there too. And now from near the well, Siddha pointed to the moon. And Leela looked at the sky and saw that the moon was there too. Leela clapped her hands and screamed in wonder. The moon here, it was there. How is it? Scream means to shout, wonder means astonishment or surprise. Now Leela was very much surprised to find that the moon could be seen from near the well also. It impressed her very much, and she was very much astonished that the moon could be found from all places. I have asked it to follow about. Now when Leela asked how it was possible that they could see the moon from all places, Siddha replied that he had ordered the moon to follow him or follow them. That means Siddha convinced Leela that the moon knew him and carried out his orders. Leela ran in and told her mother, Siddha knows the moon. Leela was very much impressed. And when children are impressed, when they are astonished, they run to their parents to tell them about it. Leela also ran to her mother and told her that Siddha knew the moon. Now we are discussing the question, how Leela taught Siddha. At dusk he carried her in and she held a class for him. The word dusk means the period between sunset and the onset of evening. Shuryasta এবং সন্ধ্যা নামার ঠিক আগে. Even after sunset there is a little light in the sky. How is it possible? Because of the reflection of sunlight on the dust particles. সূর্যালোক প্রতিফলিত হয় ধূলিকণায়. As a result there is some light. This is called dusk. In English it is also called twilight. In Bengali godhuli or pradosh. So at dusk, at twilight, Siddha carried Leela inside the house and she held a class for him. She had a box filled with catalogs, illustrated books and stumps of pencils. The question may be asked, what could be found in Leela's box? Leela's box contained catalogs. Catalog means a list of things. Suppose a company is manufacturing televisions. It will publish a catalog with different types of televisions, pictures of different kinds of televisions in it. This is called catalog. So Leela had collected it from her father. Illustrated books, the word illustration means picture. So illustrated books means books with pictures. And stumps of pencils. Stump. If you cut a pencil, after some time, only a little part of the pencil will be left. It is called stump. It gave her great joy to play the teacher to Siddha. To play the teacher means to play the role of the teacher. She made him squat on the floor with a pencil between her fingers and a catalogue in front of him. Squat means to sit on the heels. Ubu hoye bosha. Siddha would sit on his heels on the floor with a pencil between his fingers and a catalogue was placed in front of him. She had another pencil and she wrote in the pages. She had another pencil and a catalogue. Leela also had a pencil in her hand and a catalogue in front of her and commanded, now write. Command means to order. She ordered Siddha to write. And he had to try and copy whatever she wrote in the pages of her catalogue. Leela would write something in her catalogue, Siddha had to copy it. This was the teaching learning process. She knew 2 or 3 letters of the alphabet and could draw a kind of cat and crow. Leela was a little girl. She did not know all the letters of the alphabet. She knew only 2 or 3 letters. And she could draw a kind of cat and crow. That means she could not draw properly. When she drew the picture of a cat, it did not look like a cat. When she drew the picture of a crow, perhaps it looked like the picture of a sparrow. But she tried to draw. But none of these could Siddha even remotely copy. Remote means far away. Leela could at least write 2 or 3 letters. She could draw some pictures. But Siddha could not copy anything. She said, examining his effort, is this how I have drawn the letter B? Is this how I have drawn the crow? Is this how I have drawn the bee? Leela could scold her. She knew that teachers scold students for non-performance. So she was also imitating her teacher. So she scolded Siddha because he could not write the letter B properly and he could not draw the picture perfectly. She pitied him. Pity means to have sympathy for, shohanubhuti thaka, and redoubled her efforts to teach him. To redouble means to make double, to increase. Like a good teacher, Leela did not give up. Rather, she increased her efforts to teach Sidda. But the good fellow, though an adept at controlling the moon, was utterly incapable of plying the pencil. The good fellow means Sidda. Adept means one who is very efficient. Dokko. Sidda, according to his own confession, he could control the moon. He had told Leela that the moon obeyed his orders, but Sidda could not ply the pencil. To ply means to use. He could not use the pencil. Consequently, it looked as though Leela would keep him there pinned to his seat. But Leela would not allow Sidda to go away. Until and unless he could write and draw properly, Leela would not let him go. So he seemed to be pinned to his seat. To be pinned to, that means he was firmly attached. He was firmly attached to the floor till his stiff, inflexible wrist cracked. Wrist is a joint. This is the wrist joint. We write with the help of wrist. But the writer has used two adjectives to describe it: stiff and inflexible. Stiff means hard. Inflexible, that means not flexible. Flexible means that can be bent. This is flexible. And inflexible, not flexible, that means rigid, something that cannot be bent. Sidda's wrist was rigid and hard. Why? If you remember Lamarck's law of use and disuse, if we use a particular organ, it develops. If we don't use a particular organ, it ultimately disappears or becomes weak. For example, the tail has become the coccyx. Sidda had never written anything in his life. Naturally, his wrist joint had never been used to write. That's why his wrist had become rigid and hard. And it seemed to crack. To crack means to develop a crack. That means he experienced terrible pain at his wrist. He sought relief. Relief means comfort. Sought is the past form of seek. To seek means to look for. He looked for relief by saying, "I think your mother is calling you in to dinner." Now Sidda was in a very awkward position. He could not move, he could not write. Leela would not let him go. So to get rid of it, what did Sidda do? Sidda told a lie to Leela. Sidda lied to Leela, telling her that her mother had called her in to dinner. Leela would drop the pencil and run out of the room. As I have already said, children are credulous by nature, and Leela believed in what Sidda said. She thought that her mother was calling her in to dinner, and the school hour would end. In this way, Sidda got rid of Leela's teaching. The question would be asked, how did Leela teach Sidda? Another question would be there, how did Sidda get rid of Leela's teaching? So we have read up to this point. I will send questions. Later I will send the answers also. So prepare up to this point. Thank you.